Pennies was a big thing. Apples. And of course, as we know, poor Charlie Brown, he gets rocks. So, but they'll never know the fun of doing that. Coming home and emptying your candy out. And the next day, if you have brothers, I had two brothers, and your friends, you trade off, stuff you didn't like that they liked. That was always a thing to do the day after. And trick-or-treating is a customary celebration for children on Halloween. They go in costume from house to house, asking for treats such as candy or sometimes money, with the question, trick or treat? The word trick implies a threat to perform mischief. The practice is said to have roots in medieval practice of mumming, which is closely related to what they call sewing. John Pym writes that many of the feast days associated with the presentation of mumming plays were celebrated. These feast days included All Hallows Eve, Christmas, Twelfth Night, and Shrove Tuesday. In England, from the medieval period up to the 1930s, people practiced the custom of souling on Halloween, which involved groups of soulers going from parish to parish, begging the rich for soul cakes in exchange for praying for the souls of the givers and their friends. In Scotland and Ireland, guising, children disguised in costume, is a traditional Halloween custom. And is recorded in Scotland at Halloween in 1895, where masqueraders in disguise carrying lanterns made out of scooped-out turnips visit homes to be rewarded with cakes, fruit, and money. The practice of guising at Halloween in North America is first recorded in 1911. I thought it would have been a lot sooner than that. And where a newspaper in Ontario reported children guising around the neighborhood. So that's interesting that it didn't actually get recorded, the costumes, kids in costumes, until 1911 here. And of course, the thousands of Halloween postcards produced between the turn of the 20th century and the 1920s commonly show children not trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating does not seem to have become a widespread practice until the 1930s. Yep, the boom corner, it's affectionately known as here. So trick-or-treating doesn't seem to have become a practice until the 1930s here, with the first U.S. appearance of the term trick-or-treating in 1934. Figure that. And the first use in national publication, trick-or-treating, not until 1939. Interesting. A popular variant of trick-or-treating is known as trunk-or-treating. Halloween tailgating, believe it or not, Halloween tailgating occurs when children are offered treats from the trunks of cars parked in a church parking lot or a school parking lot. In a trunk or treat event, the trunk of each automobile is decorated with a certain theme. It could be anything as far as that goes. And trunk-or-treating has grown in popularity due to its perception as being more safe than going door to door. I didn't know that. I never even heard of that. A fact that, sits well with parents, as well as the fact that it solves the conundrum in which homes, built, when your neighborhood, your nearest neighbor is a mile down the road. Okay. What's your favorite Halloween costume? If you were to choose a Halloween costume, what would be your favorite costume? Let me know. Thanks, Ike. You're sweet. So let me know your favorite Halloween costume or a favorite that you wore when you were a kid. I don't know. I just remember the fun of going door to door like forever. And you'd run home, empty stuff out, and go back out. Yeah, Chris, I don't know what you're going to do about them freaks. They're getting a little pricey, aren't they? Vampire, ooh, yeah. Vampire. I always liked, as a kid, I always thought Ghost or the Mummy. Mummy was already cool. Vampire, huh? Okay. Lori, Chris, what are your favorite Halloween costumes? And Halloween costumes traditionally are modeled after supernatural figures. Vampires, monster, ghosts, skeletons, witches, and devils. A witch was a favorite too. And skeletons. I love skeletons. Over time in the U.S., the costume selection extended to include popular characters from fiction, celebrities, and like ninjas, princesses, of course, your superheroes. So, and dressing up in costumes and going guising was prevalent in Ireland and Scotland by the late 19th century and became popular for Halloween parties in the early 20th century, as often for adults as children. The first mass-produced Halloween costumes appeared in stores in the 1930s when trick-or-treating was becoming popular in the U.S. Now, I would have thought it was popular before that. I really would have, but I'm learning a few things. It didn't become popular until the 1930s. Go figure. The yearly New York Halloween Parade, which I didn't know existed either, began in 1974 by puppeteer and mask maker Ralph Lee of Greenwich Village. It's the world's largest Halloween parade and one of America's only major nighttime parades, attracting more than 60,000 costume participants. Wow. Jason was your favorite? Go Michael. Michael's my man. Of course, they have, all kinds of stuff going on. Jason, Lori, where are you? What's your favorite Halloween costume? Jason Voorhees, you would pick that. I would have to pick Michael Myers if you're going with Jason. Have you seen like old vintage photos of Halloween costumes? Oh my God, they were scary. Do you remember those plastic masks we couldn't breathe and you sweated like nobody's business? Those were awful. But your vintage Halloween costumes that kids were crazy. Were crazy scary. They're a lot more scary than they are today. Freddy Krueger. We talked about this the other night about, do you know who Robert Englund would like to see as Freddy Krueger? And I was totally about, just take a wag. That's a wild butt guess. What's your favorite, Lori? What's your favorite Halloween costume? Either as a kid or which one do you like the best? But the vintage Halloween costumes of these kids, those were freaking scary. There are some games associated with Halloween. Some of these originated as divination rituals or ways of foretelling one's future. During the Middle Ages, these rituals were done by a few in rural communities as they were considered to be deadly, serious practices. Witchcraft, yeah. In recent centuries, these divination games have been a common feature of household festivities. They often involve apples, hazelnuts. In Celtic mythology, apples were strongly associated with the other world and immortality, while hazelnuts were associated with divine wisdom. Some also suggest they derive from Roman practices. Some have become more widespread and continue to be popular, and one game is apple bobbing or dunking, in which apples float in a tub and you have to bob for them. I never could get them. I never could. And they have to use only their teeth. A variant of dunking involves kneeling on a chair, holding a fork between your teeth, and driving the fork into an apple. Oh, that's going to be good. You're going against the freaks, all of them? Wow, that's going to be interesting. Okay. I can't imagine sitting in a chair with a fork in my mouth trying to stab an apple. Now, there's probably some people I would get, but not an apple. Another common game involves hanging up treacle or syrup-coated scones by strings and must be eaten without using hands. Another version of that is hanging donuts from a string. You're going as the freaks, all of them. That's going to be interesting. Another once popular game involves hanging a small wooden rod from the ceiling at head height with a lit candle on one end and an apple hanging from the other. The rod is spun round and round, and everybody takes turns to try and catch the apple with their teeth. Now, if you have a candle hanging from it and an apple from the other, if you get the candle in your teeth, I think you're going to get hurt. That seemed kind of a bit dangerous there, if you ask me. That would be interesting. Some traditional activities involve foretelling one's future partner or spouse. An apple would be peeled in one long strip, then the peel tossed over the shoulder. The peel is believed to land in the shape of the first letter of the future spouse's name. I'd be in trouble. The peel is believed to land in the shape. 2 hazelnuts would be roasted near a fire, one name for the person roasting them and the other for the person they desire. If the nuts jump away from the heat, it's a bad sign. But if the nuts roast quietly, it foretells a good match. Okay. I like that. If the nuts jump away from the heat. I'm just visioning this, yeah. I don't know about that one. Okay. A salty oatmeal bannock, which I would believe is like a cake. It was before sock. For sure they'd be in there. No. But here, a salty bannock would be baked. It's like a cake. The person would eat it in 3 bites and then go to bed in silence without anything to drink. This is said to result in a dream in which a future spouse offers them a drink to quench their thirst. I'd be in trouble. I'd probably dream of a Smurf or something, or Michael Myers or somebody like that, and I'd be in real trouble. Unmarried women were told that if they sat in a darker room and gazed into a mirror on Halloween night, the face of their future husband would appear. Yeah, doesn't it? The nuts jump away from each other. Not a good match. Yeah, definitely personal. Okay, unmarried woman sit in a dark room and gaze to a mirror and their future husband will appear. What if Bloody Mary appears? You're going to be in deep doo-doo there. However, if they were destined to die before marriage, a skull would appear. That'd probably be my luck. The custom was widespread enough to be those were commemorated on greeting cards. Go figure that. In Ireland and Scotland, items would be hidden in food. Items would be hidden in food. Okay, got that out. And portions of it served out at random. A person's future would be foretold by the item they happened to find. For example, a ring meant marriage and a coin meant wealth. Okay, I got a rock. Yeah, maybe. Some people say you don't. But you sit in a darker room long enough, it's hard telling what you're going to see. Up until the 19th century, the Halloween bonfires were also used for divination in parts of Scotland, Wales, and Brittany. When the fire died down, a ring of stones would be laid in the ashes, one for each person in the morning. If any stone was mislaid, it was said that the person it represented would not live throughout the year. They had some cool games back then, didn't they? I'm telling you what, those sound like fun. And of course, telling ghost stories and watching horror movies I love those, my favorites. Halloween-themed specials and all that, all month long, actually. It's great. And of course, we have our haunted attractions. Wouldn't that be crazy? God only knows what I'd see. Yeah, those games were they sound like kind of fun. I'll have a Halloween party and we'll do those. Yeah, what if the freaks show up in the mirror? We're in deep doo-doo there. That's for sure. So that's kind of the history of Halloween, but it didn't actually become popular here until the 1930s. Go figure. I would have thought a lot sooner than that, but that's what I get for thinking. Horror movies rock, you know it, Lori. Oh, I love the month of October. That is my month. I could sit in front of the TV 24/7. And, of course, at work, we dress up, so I'll have to get pictures of that. And if you guys have inbox me or message me with if you're in a costume or decorations, Halloween decorations, send me some pictures. Send me some pictures. Okay, I'm going to break away to some music, and we'll be back with the book corner, or as we affectionately call it, the boom corner, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.